The plantation they don't want you to see, the hidden terror of breeding farms, and the legacy of dehumanization. What if the most brutal truth about slavery wasn't just about labor, but about breeding? Breeding plantations, the unspoken cornerstone of the transatlantic slave system, were sites of unimaginable violence. Young girls, some as young as 12, were forcibly impregnated, their children cataloged as property and stripped of humanity. This horrifying part of history was erased from textbooks and conversations to protect the myths of American history. If you're ready to uncover the truth and honor the voices of the silenced, subscribe to this channel and watch to the end. The truth is darker than what we've been taught. Breeding farms. Girls were confined and raped to create human capital. Their children were treated as livestock, labeled as litter in ledgers. Legal erasure. Indigenous women of African descent were reclassified as Negro or colored, severing their ties to their tribes, land, and sovereignty. Paper genocide. Systems like the Dawes rolls and census records erased tribal identities, replacing them with false classifications to destroy lineage and autonomy. This wasn't just economic exploitation, it was biological warfare designed to erase a people.
You know what plantation they've never shown us, Abby? The most prominent ones. The ones that were most profitable. The breeding plantations. Why don't you want to show us those? You know why? Because after the research that I did for this album, you realize that the moment that a girl menstruated, she was put in a stable where a horse would be and forcibly mated, forcibly raped by a male of the slave master's choice. And when she had children, they weren't called children, they were called a litter of pups. The punishment for raping or killing a person in medieval Spain is gelding. Gelding is when you take hot pincers and you take a man's balls and dick off root and stem. Killing a person, well, the Bible, right? Medieval Spain, super religious. Killed a man, he should be killed. Why were indigenous and black people categorized as subhuman? So under the law, you would not be punished for the things that you did to us. That's why. You used to be proud, right? You used to be proud, white America, of rape and murder. You used to be proud of colonization. You used to, wow, that made us tough. And then you got ashamed. And that's what you're dealing with. That's what America's dealing with, a schizophrenic crisis. There's a British manual, right, that was taken out of the British Museum because within the manual, it talked about how rape was a weapon of war that should be used against the indigenous population. You're ashamed of that now. You're ashamed, right? Who was Christopher Columbus? His image has been so whitewashed, but he was trafficking little girls on an island. Who does that sound like, huh? All you right-wing defenders of Christopher Columbus and his legacy? He was trafficking 9-year-old indigenous girls on an island. Who does that remind you of, you intellectual coward?
Here's the hidden truth. Breeding plantations weren't just horrific, they were strategic. These systems didn't just attack the body, they destroyed the soul, the lineage, and the memory of a people. The descendants of these women, American Indian women misclassified as black, carry this history in their blood, their bones, and their stories. This is not just about the past, it's about reclaiming the identity that was stolen. The impact of this truth is generational and ongoing. Erased sovereignty, the misclassification of indigenous women has left their descendants locked out of their rightful tribal identities and lands. Cultural memory, the silence around these atrocities has created gaps in our understanding of who we are and where we come from. Reclamation as resistance. By exposing this truth, we reclaim our bloodlines, our stories, and our power. This is not just history, it's a call to break the cycle of silence and erasure. The breeding plantations they don't want you to see represent the darkest corner of American history, but we are here to shine a light. At Reclaiming My Story, we are committed to amplifying the voices of American Indian women whose identities were stolen and silenced. If you're ready to reclaim the truth, honor your ancestors, and break the silence like this video, share it and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can expose the lies, reclaim our heritage, and ensure that the legacy of those who came before us is never erased again. We are the truth they tried to silence, and we are no longer silent.
See, America already paid reparations at the end of the Civil War to slave owners. They gave them money per black person that they let free, and they refused to honor the people that were actually victimized. So until you do that, you will always be cursed, America. And you can call me a communist, a socialist, but you know what? It doesn't matter what you call me. You know that I'm right.